Gulf War, an aircraft previously unwanted became the most valuable member of the American arsenal, the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II.
More than the publicity, the weapon system was really vindicated because it was a proof of concept that people that were associated with the airframe knew that it could do the job, but not a lot of other people did, especially some of the senior Air Force leadership. And it was very rewarding to go out and kick butt.
We probably took a lot of heat from all our friends in the Air Force and Navy and other airplanes because it's slow, it's ugly. You know, they like to rib us about that, but the reason it was so successful in the Gulf War is that it's not really about looks or about speed, it's about firepower. And the A-10 can really deliver a lot of ordnance in a very precise manner.
The A-10 basically is a gun that they decided to make fly.
The rate of fire of our gun is around 3,900 rounds per minute, or about 50 to 70 rounds per second as the gun comes up to speed. That does not sound like a machine gun. That sounds like a very unhappy lion or tiger or beast of some sort, because it has a roaring sound.
When the time came to name this intimidating airplane, only one beast came to mind.
Now, obviously, when the A-10 follows a long line of distinguished hogs, someone had to come up with a hog-like name for this airplane, and looking at it, the obvious hog-like name for an airplane that's this ugly would be the Warthog.
I think its mission of ground attack brought on some of that. You know, it's down and dirty in the mud, like a warthog.
After its rousing success in the Gulf War, few remain unfamiliar with America's Warthog. During the war, Hog pilots flew 8,100 sorties, destroyed more than half of the Iraqi armor and artillery, assisted in search and rescue missions, hunted Scuds, and often operated in the darkness of night. The airplane's remarkable durability and the hard work of Air Force pilots and mechanics enabled the Warthog to operate with a mission capability rate of an astonishing 96%. And in a tribute to its toughness, only 6 of the 144 Warthogs deployed to the Gulf were lost. The Warthog is one of the most formidable airplanes in the history of aviation. Although this highly maneuverable airplane can carry a remarkable 16,000 pounds of mixed ordnance, it is the massive 30mm Avenger cannon which places the Warthog in a class of its own. The Avenger can fire 70 rounds a second and is the largest gun ever put into a fighter airplane, capable of killing tanks, trains, boats, or anything else that gets in its way. With an impressive mixture of agility, rugged toughness, and devastating firepower, the A-10 stands as one of the world's great planes. In a sight becoming more common throughout the American military, a complementary mixture of full-time Air Force personnel and Air National Guardsmen combined to keep planes like the Warthog in a constant state of readiness.
Bob and I are both crew chiefs in the Maryland Air National Guard. Our unit's responsible for maintaining 17 A-10 aircraft. Bob's a full-time member of the Guard, and I'm a traditional Guardsman. When I'm not at the Guard on my one weekend a month, I'm a Baltimore City police officer. On a typical Saturday, we'll come in about 6:30 in the morning. I'll stay till about 6 o'clock at night. Usually we'll fly 10 airplanes to land again, send up 10 more. In the hangar right now, they have there's 4 airplanes in there. One they're using for load crew training. One, I believe they're doing some sort of flight control maintenance on. and the two in the far rear are both down for phase inspections.
This airplane right now is in the phase inspection, which is accomplished every 400 hours, flying hours. It has come in for a major inspection. And during that inspection, they basically open the entire airplane up. And in doing that, they inspect front compartments. The gun gets inspection. The engines get inspected. The wings, the gears. You have special inspections that have to be done, TCTOs. And basically, it gets an overall look at everything. Okay, part of the A-10 and phase inspection process is the armors. They've taken this gun out and inspected the gun bay, and now they are in the process of preparing to put the gun back in.
Our primary function is to remain combat ready. In other words, to train to the same level of proficiency as our active duty counterparts, such that if the level of tasking, the level of involvement of our Air Force reached the point where it couldn't be completely handled by our active duty units, then the Guard and Reserve is ready to fill in, and fill in on very short notice.
Usually on a drill weekend, or a UTA we call it, we put together a scenario for the day, a mini war for a day, and we have intel. We coordinate with intel and all the different shops, and we go out and basically execute a war plan for one day.
With the recent downsizing of the active duty Air Force, units like the 175th Wing of the Maryland Air National Guard have become integral participants in any mission undertaken by the Air Force. About 25% of the 175th Wing are full-time employees of the Maryland Air National Guard. The remaining members, traditional guardsmen, leave their families and employers for training 1 weekend a month, and also to serve 15 days or more of active duty each year.
This is, of course, an Air National Guard unit made up of primarily prior service pilots that came out of active duty units and moved on to a civilian occupation. And in many cases, that civilian occupation was the airlines. And they fly 2 aircraft now. They have their civilian jobs with their civilian airlines, and they come in on weekends and some oftentimes during the week to fly this airplane.
That's the most important job.
No, see you around. Okay, have a good one. See you around.
Amongst the proud and select group who call themselves hog pilots, one stands alone. Lieutenant Colonel Ron Henry, who's been flying the airplane since its introduction into the Air Force, is the only hog pilot to have amassed more than 4,000 hours of flight time in the A-10. Nicknamed the Professor for his academic and meticulous approach to his job, Henry's invaluable experience and insight have helped countless younger pilots master their craft.
I was a volunteer for this assignment back in 1977. The airplane was brand new. Every airplane that enters the inventory has a certain mystique associated with it. And in 1977, the A-10 was introduced at Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, South Carolina, and the combination of Myrtle Beach Air Force Base and a brand new airframe made it the most desirable assignment in the United States Air Force in the late 70s. And there was no problem getting people to volunteer for this airplane. I can't understand why there ever would be. I have seen the airplane evolve over a period of 20 years. I started flying this airplane in 1977, and it's changed quite a bit. It was a very simple, austere airplane in its early days. It was designed that way, designed to cost very, very little. But the airplane has proved so survivable and so indestructible that the mission has evolved and the complexity of the airplane has increased over time. When we first started flying the airplane, we had basically 3 radios and a navigational receiver, and that's really all we had. We had no computers on board to help us guide the airplane or help us aim the weapons. Quite a bit of money's been spent on the airplane since its introduction to the fleet in terms of retrofitting the airplane. We now have a very capable air-to-ground computing system that helps us aim our weapons. Helps us aim not only the 30mm cannon, but also all the gravity weapons that fall off the bomb. Good enough to win the Air Force's biannual gunnery competition in 1991.